Imagine stepping into a town where no one wears clothes, not because of extreme weather conditions or poverty, but because it's their way of life. No shame, no restrictions, and no laws forcing them to cover up. This isn't a fictional story or a hidden ancient tribe. These are real communities where being completely nude is as normal as wearing clothes in the rest of the world. For outsiders, this might seem shocking, even uncomfortable, but for the people who live here, it's just another day. What if I told you that such places don't just exist in remote jungles or isolated islands, but in well-developed countries like Germany, France, and even parts of the United States? People in these places live their everyday lives, working, shopping, exercising, and even attending public gatherings, all without wearing any clothes. The idea might seem crazy to many, but for those who embrace this lifestyle, it's a way of achieving complete freedom. But why do they do this? What's the real reason behind it? And how do outsiders react when they visit? Let's uncover the shocking truth behind the places where people choose to live without clothes. The idea of a society without clothing isn't new. In fact, some of the world's most advanced ancient civilizations, including the Greeks and Romans, practiced public nudity in bathhouses, sports arenas, and even religious ceremonies. To them, nudity was natural, not something to be ashamed of. However, as societies evolved and became more conservative, clothing became a symbol of modesty, social status, and sometimes even power. Over time, nudity started being seen as indecent, and strict dress codes were established in most cultures around the world. But in the early 20th century, a new movement emerged in Europe that challenged these beliefs. It started in Germany and was called Freikörperkultur, FKK, which translates to free body culture. This movement promoted the idea that the human body is not something to be hidden or sexualized but something to be embraced. Supporters believed that removing clothes symbolized freedom, equality, and a deeper connection with nature. They argued that society's obsession with clothing had created unnecessary divisions based on class, wealth, and beauty standards. The FKK movement quickly gained popularity, and by the mid-1900s, nudist communities began forming in different parts of the world. Today, there are entire villages, resorts, and parks dedicated to this lifestyle. One of the most famous examples is Cap d'Agde, a town in France known as the Naked City. Here, residents and visitors can freely walk around, dine in restaurants, shop in supermarkets, and even attend social events, completely naked. Unlike nudist beaches, where people remove their clothes only while swimming or sunbathing, this is an entire town where wearing clothes is optional at all times. Many of these places have strict rules to ensure that nudity remains non-sexual. Any form of inappropriate behavior is strictly prohibited, and visitors must follow community guidelines. In fact, photography is often banned in such areas to respect the privacy of those who live there. So, how do people in these communities actually live? Surprisingly, they go about their daily routines just like anyone else. They wake up, have breakfast, go to work, and spend time with family, all without feeling the need to wear clothes. Many of them say that after a while, being nude feels completely natural, and they don't even notice it anymore. The absence of clothing removes social barriers and creates a sense of equality where no one is judged based on their appearance. But what about outsiders who visit these places for the first time? Most tourists initially feel uncomfortable, awkward, or even embarrassed. The idea of seeing everyone around them without clothes can be overwhelming. But after spending some time in these communities, many people start to understand the philosophy behind it. Some visitors even decide to participate themselves, realizing that it's not about being provocative but about experiencing a different way of life. However, this lifestyle is still controversial in many parts of the world. Religious and conservative groups often argue that public nudity goes against moral values and should be banned. In some countries, there have been legal debates about whether these communities should be allowed to exist. While some governments have recognized nudist communities and given them legal protection, others have imposed strict regulations to limit their activities. Despite the controversy, the free body culture movement continues to grow, with thousands of people choosing to adopt this way of life every year. Some people believe that in the future, as societies become more open-minded, nudist communities will become even more common. Others argue that clothing is an essential part of human civilization and that these communities will always remain a niche lifestyle. The question is, what do you think? Would you ever visit a place where no one wears clothes? Or do you think this is too extreme? Whether you agree with this lifestyle or not, one thing is certain. The world is full of surprising and unique cultures that challenge our understanding of what is normal. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories from around the world.